Hey guys, Bowler here with 10 tips and tricks for Pichu in Super Smash Bros. 2. I just recently hit 15,000 subscribers and was planning on celebrating by doing 15 tips for Pichu, but since I'm already at 16,000 and it's hard to come up with 15 great tips, I did cut it down to the 10 best ones I had. So here we are with 10 of the coolest setups for the character, pieces of advice for learning the character, interesting advanced tech, and lesser known info and fun facts about the newest character in Super Smash Bros. 2, Pichu. Now, I'm sure some of you who are already a little bit more experienced with Pichu will probably already know a good amount of these, since some of these tips are more aimed for beginner Pichu players who don't really know the character yet, or are more familiar with the Melee Pichu variant. But there are a good amount of advanced tips that I did manage to get from some of the community members who have been labbing a lot of Pichu recently, from the help of Chaos Zero and Rico. And I was able to learn a lot from these two players, so there should be a good mix of useful competitive tips as well as just interesting cool glitches and less useful casual tips. Anyways, I'm going to get right into it with our very first one, which is Pichu's Discharge state. Unlike the Pichu most people know from Melee, SSF2 Pichu has a unique property known as Discharge state. I'm sure a lot of competitive players already know about this, but once Pichu is above 50%, he enters Discharge state, which is sort of a power-up to certain moves. It's the closest thing to Aura or Rage that's inside SSF2, where the more percent you have, you get a sort of buff to your character. Discharge state changes Pichu's up B into a single direction kill move, his neutral special becomes bigger and gives him a longer stun, Discharge down B lets Pichu cancel the end lag by jumping out of it, and Discharge side B gives you the full momentum of a fully charged side B immediately, making for some really fun recovery tricks. However, Discharge state also buffs some non-special moves such as Pichu's forward smash, which buffs his KO power, range, and hit stun, making it a devastating KO move. Next we have Pichu's unique side taunt. Due to Pichu's unique case with Discharge state, where sometimes it's more beneficial to be a higher percent than a lower one, it's very useful to rack up percent fast when needed. And while Pichu can give himself some extra percent with some of his electric based attacks, one of the quickest ways to gain extra percent is using his side taunt, which gives you an extra 10% really fast. So in very specific situations where you need that Discharge state to get a kill, you can use your side taunt to get that extra 10%. And since we're on the topic of taunts, this is not a competitive tip, but it's very interesting to know that Pichu is the only character in Super Smash Bros. To have 4 different taunts in the game. He has his side taunt, his up taunt, his down taunt, and he also has a neutral taunt which you can do by holding no directions. Next we have Pichu's crouching heal. So we've already established that Pichu is a very unique character in SSF2, having many distinctions between himself and Pikachu and Melee Pichu. But there's even more small little details they managed to put in to help make Pichu his own character. For example, while you're crouched as Pichu, you slowly heal percent when these bubble effects come out. It's pretty slow, but every percent matters, and it's actually faster to cancel the animation after the bubbles and then re-crouch to get the bubbles again. And if you manage to star KO your opponent, you could actually heal a couple of percent, bringing yourself out of Discharge state, and then you can get back into it. Next we have Pichu's Thunder Climb tech, which is one of my favorite techs that Pichu has. Pichu's Thunder is a fairly strong move on its own, being an off-stage spike and letting Pichu cancel the end lag while in Discharge state. However, in very specific situations, you can actually use your down B to gain height by immediately jumping out of it into another down B right after it's cancelled. However, this only works with Discharge state since normal Thunder won't cancel your end lag. Also, it's important to note that you can't use this from too far down, since Thunder has a longer travel time the further down you are, so it's pretty limited. Although, I'm sure Pichu fans will find creative uses for this tech. Next we have Quick Attack Cancel, a tech that many Pikachu players have already mastered, but Pichu players definitely need to step their game up with. Similarly to Pikachu, Pichu's normal up special has a Quick Attack Cancel by sliding off of platforms or ledges, canceling all end lag and letting you attack immediately. However, this does not work with Discharge state since you don't keep your momentum when hitting a platform, so you have to do it while you're below 50%. This tech has plenty of practical uses for platform stages, like you can Quick Attack Cancel to an edge guard with Dare, you can recover safer on certain stages, you can surprise your opponent with movement options on platform stages, all sorts of interesting ways to use Quick Attack Cancel to your advantage. Next is an interesting ledge trick with Pichu on stages with walls. Pichu has this very cool trick you can do when recovering on stages with walls, such as Tower of Salvation and Yoshi's Story. So as Pichu, when you're right next to the wall, close to the ledge, you can do a diagonal up special which will make you go straight upwards, but when you hit the top of the ledge, a little hitbox comes out in front of you like this, a disjointed hitbox, allowing you to get a cool setup off. It's not terribly easy to use, but definitely has potential for tricky recoveries. Next is Pichu's Auto Cancel Bear. Pikachu's back here is one of his best kill options and is a great way to secure a kill without Discharge state. However, it does have a fair amount of landing lag when normally thrown out, making it not as safe in neutral. However, you can perform a rising full hop Bear and have it cancel before touching the ground, giving you no landing lag, actually making it a safer option to throw out. Speaking of killing your opponent, Pichu has some interesting kill setups. Pichu can definitely struggle with getting kills on his opponents. However, he does have one kill setup in particular that is very useful for securing kills. You may already know that Pichu's up air is a great juggling tool, and you can actually combo it into a kill setup on most characters. So on the majority of characters at kill percent, you can combo up air into the weak part of a discharge up B, which will always knock the opponent towards the finisher, making it a guaranteed kill setup. It is a great KO option if you can react to their DI in time. And lastly is an interesting tech or glitch depending on how you look at it. I'm not exactly sure if this is intentional or not given the way it works, but there's an interesting tech with Pichu and Pikachu where you can perform your up special on the ground in the same direction twice. So normally with Pikachu and Pichu you can't go in the same direction twice. However, if you're on the ground and you go right or left and then press down, it'll actually, instead of making you go straight into the ground, it'll make you go forward again, allowing you to go twice in one direction as an approach option. However, with Pichu, for some reason, when you go left, it actually makes you go into the ground, but when you go right, it doesn't. It doesn't really make any sense, and I think it's really just more of a glitch than a tech. However, with Pikachu, it does work both directions, and I guess if you're approaching your opponent on the right, it works for Pichu. Anyways, that's about it for this video. If you have any other tips or advice for playing Pichu, especially for newer players, feel free to leave them in the comments below, since Pichu is not really the easiest character to pick up. And I would love to see what you guys have discovered with Pichu so far. Anyways, thank you again for 15,000 subscribers, although we're now at 16,000, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you all for watching.